The way I run D&D now, compared to when I started, without really meaning to, I've created a monster. And I'll show you how you can make a weird homunculus, a hybrid of a system too. It all started so innocently, the kind of thing everyone does, right? Dropping encumbrance here, ignoring spell components there. But then I thought, oh, how about some clocks from Blades in the Dark, tag team rules from Daggerheart, and while I'm at it, the dramatic death save mechanics from Mothership. Those can't hurt, can they? Can they? Now I've got a mess of a hybrid of a game, but the folks at my tables and I have never had more fun, and I bet if you start tinkering, you and your players will have a blast. My name's Rich, this is Renegade Rolls, and let's look at how to twist, blend, and mash up game systems into something truly unique. Despite the many games I enjoy, D&D is still the game I play and run the most. It's got so many great mechanics which have informed the design of countless other systems. When getting excited about the new hotness, or a cool indie TTRPG, I'm guilty of forgetting just how good D&D is, with 50 years of refining the mechanics into something that works brilliantly in so many situations. It's not the right game for every scenario, but for heroic fantasy adventures where you want to play out the hero's journey from humble origins to stronger than God, it's pretty hard to beat. But if you're like me, sooner or later you'll find elements which don't quite fit with your playstyle. For me, I tend to drop the crunchy bits like encumbrance and spell components, but for you, maybe you're looking for more granularity and details in some aspects of the game. Swapping mechanics works so well because D&D is super modular. Most elements of the game are simple to swap out and ignore if you don't like them, which is why the history of homebrewing is the history of the development of D&D. So how'd you start? Well, bad news, buddy. You start by reading. I read a lot of game systems, way more than I get to play or run. Some mechanics are pretty universal. We use randomness when the result is uncertain, but other components take very divergent paths in different systems. Stealth works slightly differently in D&D to Draw Steel to Daggerheart, but very differently in Mothership, where you don't roll any dice, you just describe how you hide and hope and pray that the alien doesn't find you. Start with mechanics which are modular and don't interfere with others. Don't go replacing rests or spell slots in D&D, as they interface with basically every part of the game. Beginning with a straight swap can be a good place to start, but you should be on the lookout for systems where there isn't a one-to-one match with D&D, like how Index Card RPG does away entirely with armor class in favour of a single difficulty for the entire encounter. Notice when you want more detail or less detail, or a mechanic which invokes a particular vibe. Mothership death saves where you hide the dice roll under a cup and only reveal the number when someone goes to check the body add amazing levels of tension. To bring this to D&D, get a load of cups, smiley faces are optional here, and put them in a row. Or to encourage roleplay, how about some of the leading questions from Brindlewood Bay? What are you afraid will happen if this doesn't go well? If you're looking to bring in more elements of teamwork, Daggerheart's tag team rules work great. Another system will have something for you. When you've found the mechanics that you like, how do you stitch them into D&D? Well, you'll never know if your monstrosity will lurch into life until you bring it to your table. Sooner or later, you'll need to stop dreaming and make a start. Tell your players in advance what you're planning, and then just give it a go. But before you go chucking in 100 different changes all at once, heed my warning and learn from my mistakes. I once brought a misshapen lump of an untested hybrid of a game to my table, confident that my players would love it. His name is Christopher, and I love him, but you can't expect any group to be enthusiastic about a whole host of untested new mechanics on top of the systems they're already grappling with. To make changes well, only add 1 or 2 per session. If it's your first time deviating from rules as written, avoid making them intrusive to the core of the game. So unless your name is Salty Nick, don't go swapping every monster d20 roll for a d24. It's easier to start small, and with mechanics that exist just in isolation. Maybe you want to expand survival checks with something a bit more detailed, or you've got a cool idea for swimming mechanics. These will only affect certain parts of your game and won't dominate your entire session. Drop them quickly if they're clearly not fun. You do stars and wishes at your table at the end of a session, right? Good. This is the moment to check in with your players and discuss what worked, what definitely didn't. I know, Christopher, I love you, we'll try again soon. Also to discuss what you might want to try next time. You might get a nasty surprise when you find that the super cool lockpicking minigame you brought in specifically for the rogue just didn't hit the mark with them and left the rest of the group in the cold for 10 minutes. But you might find that some mechanics stick and your system monster can grow another arm, another leg, another tentacle. Whatever happens, don't be afraid to try again. As it says at the front of the Moldvay edition of D&D from way back in 1980, the purpose of these rules is to provide guidelines that enable you to play and have fun, so don't feel absolutely bound to them. Here is my spirited defense of why I don't just play D&D in the face of blinding lights, trick questions, and being threatened with the deadliest of weapons known to humanity. D4s.